Okay. Okay, second chapter we have started already in the last lecture, and in that lecture we have discussed the primary treatment process. Okay, is my voice audible properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, there is very huge crowd outside, and I have taken somewhere outside place from where I can take the lecture. Now we are going to study the secondary treatment process. Okay. Now in the secondary treatment process, basically we have discussed the wastewater treatment plant. General wastewater treatment plant we have already discussed. And in the general wastewater treatment plant, always the first unit is the always the first unit is, speak out guys. First unit operation in a wastewater treatment plant. Screening, exactly. So in the screening process, after screening process, there will be a grit removal chamber. After grit removal chamber, there will be a flow equalization tank. Okay, and then after flow equalization tank, there will be a primary sedimentation tank. Up to this is the primary treatment process, preliminary and primary treatment process. Now we are turning towards secondary treatment process. Okay, so up to this we have discussed. Now in the secondary treatment process, so very first unit operation we are going to study the activated sludge process. Okay, it is a process, it is not the unit. Okay, so how this is a process and why it is not unit, that I will discuss with another figure. Okay, you can just see here, activated sludge process, it is a process. Primary sedimentation tank will be here. Okay, so better I will explain with this. Okay, effluent after preliminary treatment is coming into the primary sedimentation tank. What happens in the primary sedimentation tank? We are allowing to settle down the maximum amount of particles at the bottom. Okay, those are settleable. Okay. Yes, those are settleable. That particles will be settled down at the bottom in a primary settling tank. But those density is very less and particle size is very small, or sometimes these are in a dissolved form, organic matters are there. These particles will not be removed in a primary sedimentation tank or primary clarifier. Okay, so for the removal of that primary clarifier, earlier at the start of lecture, start of this chapter, I told you, we can take the help of bacteria, which are actually our enemy, but we can take their help to remove the dissolved and organic impurities, which are in a very fine particle form. Okay, so these can be removed with the help of microorganisms. That's why we need to add one process, and that process is known as the activated sludge process. Okay, so this is a primary clarifier. After primary clarifier, wastewater will move towards the aeration tank. So in the aeration tank, huge amount of atmospheric air we can add. Aeration usually can be performed with the help of surface aerators. So there will be a rotors, blades can be arranged on this, and this will be rotating at the surface. So while rotation at the surface, it will stir the water, and because of stirring of water, maximum amount of atmospheric oxygen will dissolve into the water, wastewater. Okay, so there will be two processes happens. Because of addition of atmospheric oxygen, odorable gases present into that water, wastewater, will start escaping. It will start escaping. Okay, so this is the first function will happen over there. Another phenomena is that dissolved oxygen, atmospheric oxygen, when dissolving in water, the microorganisms or the bacteria present into that wastewater will get that oxygen as an energy. Once they are getting sufficient oxygen as an energy, they will start decomposing the organic matters present into the wastewater. Are you getting? So whatever the organic matters are present into this wastewater, okay, which is coming from this these will start consuming the bacteria, will start decomposing the organic matters present into the sewage. So aeration, gas transfer we usually say. Aeration, addition of oxygen and elimination of odorable gases, and at the same time decomposition of organic matter present into the sewage or the wastewater performs at a time in a wastewater treatment, in a aeration tank. Are you getting? These two activities performed together or the simultaneously in a aeration tank. Got this point? So when addition of oxygen is going on, at that time odorable gases are getting removed. But this entire, why aeration we are performing, another one objective behind the aeration is that these particles, because that aerator is there, and sometimes we are allowing to let them to be there in that. After aeration, suppose we had given 6 hours aeration, after 6 hours aeration we allow to settle down, we allow to remain that water into this same tank, but this will not be settled down, this will be in a suspension form. Okay, this will be in a suspension form. So because this entire growth process of microorganism and decomposition of organic material performs in a suspension form, that's why this process is also known as suspended growth process. This process is also known as the suspended growth process. Okay, so that after that aeration and that suspension, the wastewater, this along with bacteria present into that and the decomposed material by the bacteria, along with this entire sludge matter, it will be allowed to move in a forward direction into the secondary clarifier. So what happens in a secondary clarifier? Secondary clarifier is performing the sedimentation process again. So because this particulate matter or the organic matter present into the sewage has been consumed by the microorganisms, that has been become, that microorganisms became heavy, healthier, is it? So because of that, these microorganisms start settling at the bottom in a secondary clarifier. Secondary clarifier design I am going to show you separately, but for your understanding at this stage, I am going to show you. Actually, this type of axis will be there, and on this axis there will be a blade, and this blade will be keep on rotating in one direction continuously with a slow motion, and because of rotation, it will make the particles present over here or the microorganisms which are present over here to settle down at the bottom towards this. This is the function of secondary clarifier. And this rotor, when it is rotating, only one blade is provided. When it is keep on rotating continuously in a circular tank, at that time, along with providing some velocity to the water, and because of that, particles start settling down to the bottom with a faster rate. Another phenomena is also performing, that it is scrapping it is collecting the entire sludge settled over here. It will be scrapped and it will be transported towards the center, and from the center, from the bottom, it can be removed out. The sludge can be removed out. So this waste sludge, we are supposed to provide the treatment, for the treatment, and then we can go for the further application with respect to this waste sludge, that we are not going to talk much about here, because that part we are going to study in a chapter number 3. Okay, but another one important part is there. Here, some few quantity of sludge we are returning back to this process. We are returning back to this process. And because we are returning this sludge from this secondary clarifier to before the primary settling tank, or before the primary clarifier, we are returning the sludge before the aeration tank or before the primary clarifier. That is our choice. So we are returning this. Why we are returning this sludge because when as I told you, these microorganisms are added over here. Microorganisms are already present. We are providing oxygen to them, okay? And because of oxygen, they are getting sufficient energy. And because of energy, they are able to consume the organic matter, decompose the organic matter. So degradation process performs. And when it is that process, when time passes, after 2 hours, 3 hours, what happens? The amount of organic matter getting consumed entire. So there is no that organic matter is nothing but the food for microorganism, and oxygen is energy for the microorganism. As we have provided oxygen, they started their work to decompose the organic matter. But what happens after some time? That entire organic matter gets finished. So the demand and supply, that mathematics gets collapsed. Means that bacteria becomes very healthy and eager to eat the new food, but that is not available over there. Then what happens? They start killing to each other. Likewise, the मोठा मासा छोट्या माशाला खातो, छोटा मासा त्याच्यापेक्षा छोट्या माशाला खातो. Likewise, that cycle starts. Okay. So what? And after some time, there will not be food available to them, but they are very hungry to eat new food. Means they are very active to eat the new food, but it is not available. And that's why there is some part we are returning, that active part of this microorganism, we are returning back to the aeration process. And because of that, the new wastewater, whatever is coming into this aeration tank, is getting degraded with a faster rate, because active mass of microorganisms we have recycled, and they're very angry. They're waiting for new food. So it will start decomposing the microorganism, organic matter present into the new wastewater. So because we are recirculating the active part of sludge from the secondary clarifier to primary clarifier or before the aeration tank, this process is known as the activated sludge process. Because we are returning the active part of sludge from secondary clarifier to aeration tank or to primary clarifier, this process is known as the activated sludge process. Understood? Understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So likewise, this is a activated sludge process. So this I have shown, this figure I have shown to understand the sequence. But basically, if it is asked to draw the activated sludge process, in that case, you can draw this figure. Draw activated sludge process. In that case, simply you can draw this process. Okay. So you are requested to draw this figure first, and then we'll proceed. Activated sludge process. Then I will give you some write-up. If not understood, you can ask me, I can repeat you.
मॅम तुम्ही म्यूट आहात.
Once you finish this diagram, I will open the next figure where we have explained that also you can draw, and then we can proceed to the next point. So once you finish, to drop a message here. Guys, please draw this figure also, suspended growth process as well as the activated sludge process. Done, guys?
1 minute.
Okay, 2 messages received from Uday and Rutuja. That is completed. We'll wait for 30 seconds more and then we'll proceed. Okay, I think we can go ahead. Oh, sorry. It's okay. Now we'll read. I have already explained the process. Those who have not understood, they are requested to pay attention and try to understand. Okay, and also you are requested to note down the important points from this. Okay, the activated sludge process. Okay, let me check my. Oh. Okay, the activated sludge process is a type of wastewater treatment process for treating sewage or industrial wastewaters using aeration and a biological floc composed of bacteria and protozoa. Okay, to these organisms, bacteria and protozoa will work for this for treating the wastewater. Okay, activated sludge process offers efficient removal of BOD, COD, and nutrients. Remember that ASP, activated sludge process, in short, it is called ASP. And one more important thing you can note down for MCQ type of questions. Activated sludge process. In activated sludge process, we are allowing this sludge in a suspension form, not allowing to settle, not allowing to attach somewhere. It is in a suspension form, and that's why it is also called as the suspended growth process. Okay, activated sludge process is also known as the suspended growth process. Second important thing, in short, it is called as the ASP. Okay, and third important thing you can note down, keep on noting simultaneously. Activated sludge process offers the efficient removal of these three particles. What is this? These three impurities. What are these three impurities? BOD, COD, and nutrients when designed professionally and operated properly. Okay, it helps to remove the BOD. Organic matter removal, in the sense, definitely it will remove the BOD and COD, and also nutrients when designed professionally and operated properly. The activated sludge process was developed in England in 1914 and was so named because it involved the production of activated mass. Why we are calling this process is an activated sludge process? Because active mass of microorganism we are recirculating before the aeration, and this active mass of recirculation will help to improve the rate of degradation. It will help to improve the rate of degradation. That's why it is called as the activated sludge process. Okay, so because we are returning the active mass of microorganisms, it is called as the activated sludge process. Okay, I hope you are understanding and you are noting the important points. Now, in our activated sludge process, we saw two different figures earlier. In one figure, we saw that somewhere it is connected before the primary clarifier. Somewhere it is collected in after the primary clarifier. Is it? Wait a minute, please. extremely sorry guys, because of this multiple activities pro admission process are going on, and then I have to be connected with them. Okay, so I was telling you, so two different figures we saw. What are these two different figures? In one figure we saw that active sludge is written here, okay, before the aeration tank, and another one dotted line is shown, active sludge you can written here also, is it? So these two way we saw. So likewise, many different variations we can go to achieve the better results. So what are these various variations in the activated sludge process or in the ASP that we will discuss now? Okay, pay attention now. Now here is the first one is the step aeration. What is step aeration? That we will read first, and then we'll go to figure. Step aeration, step, it is also called as the step feed activated sludge. Means in a step-by-step process you can feed, not required. In this process, you can see here, in this process, what we are doing, the return sludge we are mixing into the aeration tank at the start or at the head of this aeration tank. At one spot, we are adding the entire sludge, is it? And the aeration can be performed in the entire aeration tank. At one spot, we are adding the sludge, and aeration is can be performed in an entire aeration tank. This is the process. But in a step aeration, we are adding the sludge at the one spot. Okay, we are adding the sludge, the incoming raw sludge from the primary clarifier will be allowed to enter in a step form. Are you able to see here? Are you here? It is entering from here, this spot. Okay, this is the way it is entering, and some part will be added over here. Some part will be added over here. Some part will be added over here, and the remaining will be added over here. So what happens in an earlier process actually? So in earlier process, or the conventional, we can say, in a conventional process, we are adding entire sewage at this portion. Okay, and we are adding air in a entire sewage, entire aeration tank at the same input. Okay, so what happens because of that? When the sewage is being added over here, at the start, the requirement of oxygen is high in this portion. And the requirement of oxygen starts decreasing from this process, and it will be too much less at the end. But we are adding same amount of oxygen in entire tank, and we are adding this sludge at the head only. So because of that, excess air is getting wasted, and in turn electricity and time consumption is being performed. So to save that, we can modify this activated sludge process into step aeration activated sludge process. Then what is this step aeration? In a step-by-step form, we can add the incoming sewage. At the same time, whatever the compressed air or the atmospheric air we are adding into this aerator can be added also in a step-by-step performance. So because of that, demand and supply will match. It will match the demand and supply to these microorganisms, and hence the rate of decomposition will increase. And because of that, time required for this entire process, it is known as the detention time or retention time. It can be reduced up to some extent. So that's why this modification, this process variation affects positively on the reduction of rate and getting the excellence in the results. Okay, and then settled sludge can be recycled. So here is the secondary clarifier. After this process, it will go to the secondary clarifier, and from the secondary clarifier, settled sewage can be removed. Some part of active sludge can be recycled, and the effluent which are free from sludge will be settled at the bottom, and the wastewater which is free from the sludge will be remain at the surface, and that can be removed from the top of the secondary clarifier, that is known as the effluent. When it is added, when it is entering, it is known as the influent. When it is exiting from that particular tank, it is known as the effluent. Here also I have written primary effluent. And if it is not written primary, that word, I can write here influent. The wastewater is entering into this tank. At that time, I can say influent. If I have not written the word primary. Otherwise, if it is written primary, from primary tank, that wastewater is exited. And that's why I'm saying here primary effluent. Okay. So the main advantage of this step aeration process over the conventional aeration process is to improve the rate of degradation and getting the result with a higher excellence. Okay. The settled sewage, here something I have written here, we will read. The settled sewage is applied along the length of, in step aeration, what we are doing, the settled sewage is applied along the length of tank, this is the length of tank of the tank at different and uniform steps. It is not the इथं थोडा जास्त आहे, इथं थोडा कमी आहे, इथं परत वाढवलाय, परत इथं फार कमी झालाय, असं आहे का नाही. We are applying the influent with a uniform steps. At the same time, we are applying the compressed air also at the uniform steps. Okay. So I'm telling you, the settled sewage is applied along the length of the tank at the different and uniform step, and return sludge is introduced at the head. Return sludge is introduced at the head. This arrangement equalizes food to microorganism ratio and reduces the oxygen requirement. Oxygen requirement provide करायचं असेल तर आपल्याला extra खर्च येतो. So that can be reduced. Okay. Understood? Understood, guys? Someone can reply yes or no.
Ma'am, please repeat once again.
Okay. I would like to repeat. If you don't understood, I am ready to take efforts, but you should reply me. Okay. So this is a conventional activated sludge process. In a conventional activated sludge process, what we did, the raw water or the sewage or the effluent from primary clarifier added at the head, one spot of the aeration tank. Okay. And the air in this entire tank, we are uniformly adding entire aeration in entire tank. बरोबर आहे. म्हणजे काय होते की here at one spot wastewater is coming, and when it is coming at the start, the requirement of oxygen will be very high. At this stage, the requirement of oxygen will be very high, and as it moves along the length of this tank, it will start decreasing, because here maximum oxygen they need, because their population is more and they are new, so they are very eager to get the oxygen. So at this start, oxygen requirement will be very high, but we are supplying same amount of oxygen in an entire aeration tank. Okay. And because of that, what happens when here requirement is high, sufficient oxygen is not there, and here requirement is less and same quantity of oxygen we are providing. So wastage of oxygen is being performed over here. And because of wastage of oxygen here in this portion, it will increase the cost of running cost of that plant. And because of the less quantity of oxygen available over here in this portion, effective decomposition will not be performed. So this is the drawback of conventional activated sludge process. To overcome that drawback, we are studying some process variations. And in that process variation, one of process variation we have studied just now, that is the step aeration. Okay. So in this step aeration, what we are doing, incoming sewage and the applied oxygen, both we are providing in a step by step form. म्हणजे आता इथं एवढं सीवेज ऍड केलंय. So I'm saying here this much amount of sewage we have added. Okay, so required oxygen will be this much. Then for this area again we are this step by step entire portion we are utilizing. Okay, along the length of this particular aeration tank we are providing simultaneously same quantity, uniform quantity of sludge and oxygen. So the requirement of oxygen of the microorganism are getting fulfilled. At the same time, wastage of oxygen is also not being performed. Are you getting? कळालं का? स्टेप बाय स्टेप सिवेज पण अप्लाय करतोय आणि स्टेप बाय स्टेप ऑक्सिजन पण अप्लाय करतोय. त्यामुळे डिमांड आणि सप्लायचा जो रेशो आहे तो मेंटेन होतो आणि रिझल्ट पटपट मिळायला सुरुवात होते. Got this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now please draw this figure and then I will dictate some lines on this topic. Okay, so please draw this figure. Hello guys. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Sharing stop झाले का?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
कधी सांगायचं? झाली का? डायग्राम करून झाली का? Have you finished the diagram?
No, ma'am. 1 second.
Okay. Mansi is saying finished. Whether all of you have finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then I will go for the next one, tapered aeration. Okay, we'll see the tapered aeration process. 1 second. So next one is the tapered aeration, sorry. So the first one we have discussed a step aeration. The step aeration process is a modification of activated sludge process in which sewage is introduced at 2 or more points in the aeration tank, while return sludge is introduced only at the head of the aeration tank. Okay. Now the tapered aeration. Tapered aeration attempts to supply air to match oxygen demand along the length of the tank. Very interesting technology is very interesting process design is this. So look at the figure. This is the air and this is the return sludge. Okay. Now in earlier step aeration, what we did, compressed air and the influent, both are provided in a step-by-step form. Okay, but what happens because of that? So unnecessary extra pipelines you are supposed to go for the supply of influent. Okay, but here in a tapered aeration we can do this kind of modification. At the same head, one head we can provide the effluent or the sewage, and compressed air we can distribute in a tapered form. Tapered form means what? Here in a first 1/3 area, this along with the length, I'm talking about along with the length of aerator. So in this length, we can divide it into 3 parts, 3 portions. Okay. So the first 1/3 portion, we can provide 45% of the oxygen. Okay, so that's why the supply lines are very close to each other in this up to this. Okay, then we can reduce next and in a second 1/3 portion we can provide 30% of amount of oxygen, and remaining 25% oxygen we can provide in the last portion, last compartment of this aerator tank. We are not supposed to separate the compartments by constructing the barriers in between, but we can judge that at the start the demand of oxygen is very high, so 1/3 of that portion, here the provision of oxygen will be almost 45% can be provided, and further we can reduce in a second 1/3 portion, and again we can reduce in a last 1/3 portion. So this way we are tapping the air, and then demand and supply, we are trying to match it. So outcome is the same for everything. What is the outcome? We want to reduce the degradation time, and we want to reduce the cost. Okay, so in a conventional activated sludge process, we are providing sludge and aeration, sludge at one spot, but aeration throughout the reactor, it will be same. In a second aeration tank, that is step aeration process, we are providing in a step form sludge as well as aeration, air. But here in a tapered aeration, we are tapping the air where it is required much, there we can provide much amount of oxygen. As time passes and distance forwards, the requirement starts decreasing, and accordingly we can reduce the application of oxygen. That way, whatever we have decided 100%, that can be divided into 45% for first 1/3 area, then 30% for the second 1/3 area, and remaining 25% for the third 1/3 area. So this way we will get the better results in the tapered aeration process. So one more note I have written here in this figure, it is tapered aeration involved minor modification in conventional aeration to avoid the I am not able to see what is, to avoid the excess aeration, if not required. म्हणजे काय होतं की आपण पूर्ण ह्याच्यामध्ये प्रोव्हाइड करतो, तिथं त्यावेळेस काय होतं की इथं जास्त रिक्वायर्ड असते, त्यावेळेस इथं अनारोबिक एन्व्हायरमेंट क्रिएट होण्याची शक्यता असते, आणि अनारोबिक एन्व्हायरमेंट क्रिएट झालं तर काय होतं की मायक्रो ऑर्गॅनिझम्स मरायला सुरुवात होती, आणि मग रेट ऑफ डिग्रेडेशन प्रोसेस स्लो व्हायला सुरुवात होती. तर ते कुठल्या केसमध्ये होऊ शकतं? कन्व्हेन्शनल प्रोसेसमध्ये. पण इथं जर तुमचं डिमांड जास्त आहे तर ऑटोमॅटिकली वी कॅन प्रोव्हाइड द मॅक्सिमम अमाउंट ऑफ ऑक्सिजन. So it will not allow to create the anaerobic environment here. Anaerobic environment in the sense in absence of oxygen. Okay, if it creates, these microorganisms we are using for this purpose are the aerated microorganisms, aerobic microorganisms, and that's why aeration is must. Otherwise they will start getting died. Okay, so this way tapered aeration will save the consumption of extra application of oxygen, and as well as it will save the cost, and it will effectively reduce the organic matter. It will effectively performs the decomposition of organic matter. Okay, so that's why this is one of the accepted aeration process. Okay, understood guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Simple modification is done. Okay, so please draw this figure and also. So one more point I will take and then we'll stop. So finish this first, please. Done. Over. Okay, Mansi replied that she has finished. Someone else, if finished, reply me. So I can assume that all of you have finished. Okay, guys, we'll proceed to the next one. Contact stabilization process. Okay, third modification. So in the contact stabilization process, what we can do, a modification of the conventional activated sludge process that uses two aeration tanks. Okay. Here in the contact stabilization process, we are using two aeration tanks. For what purpose, that we will read. One tank is for the separate aeration process of the return sludge, and for at least 4 hours before it is permitted to flow into the other aeration tank to be mixed with the primary effluent requiring treatment. Okay. So before I go to the contact stabilization process, I will explain with the conventional activated sludge process. So here what we are doing in this process, or in all other study until now, in this process, what we are doing, we are providing air into this portion. Okay. And after completion of process, this sludge is moving towards in this portion. And when it is reaching from this portion to this and then returning, they have lost much amount of oxygen, and because of that energy, they're about to die also, because they are not getting sufficient oxygen. Okay. So what we are doing, and then we are allowing them to enter here, and then we are providing the oxygen to them. Okay. So they take some time to get active. Okay. So that's why in the contact stabilization process, what we are doing, two different aeration tanks can be prepared. Okay, let us go to that point. Okay, two different aeration tanks can be provided. This is the contact basin and this is the stabilization tank. Okay, influent is coming at the one port at the head of this contact basin, and here only 30 to 90 minutes aeration we are providing. Only 30 to 90 minutes aeration we are providing. Less amount of air is required in this portion. Why? Because the returned sludge, or which is active one, we have already provided 3 to 6 hour aeration in the separate tank. Okay. So because of that, reduction of time and air is being performed in this process. Otherwise, 16 तास, conventional मध्ये 16 तास, 24 तास हे complete aeration process टायमिंग असतं. किंवा 12 तास एरिएशन द्यायचं, 12 तास स्टॅबिलायझेशन ठेवायचं, परत 12 तास एरिएशन द्यायचं. That way it is required in a conventional aeration tank. But here what modification we did, this quantity is less. Is it okay? This quantity is already less returning sludge, and because of that we can provide, we can miss, you can take the example of preparation of food. If a small quantity of tea you want to prepare, it will take less time to get boil and that complete dissolving and all these processes. But if it is the quantum is huge, it becomes a more complicated. So after mixing it into this conventional tank and then providing aeration, so that entire quantum is coming into picture for the getting the oxygen. So instead of that, if we provide oxygen separately for this active part of the active part of this sludge in a stabilization tank, then we can return it. We can add that activated material, highly activated material, into the contact basin. And because this is a very highly activated material, highly aerated material, here no need to provide much amount of aeration. Just 30 to 90 minutes are sufficient, and then the outcome will getting down. Okay, so this is the contact stabilization process. Understood? Understood, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then draw this figure. After drawing figure, I will note down your attendance and then you can leave. So now you can draw the figure, please. Okay, I will give you 5 minutes to draw this figure.
म्हणजे तुमचं कास्ट व्हॅलिडिटी नसल्यामुळे ओपन कॅटेगरी मधनं कन्सिडर होतं. ठीक आहे. आणि त्यानंतर ज्यावेळेस स्कॉलरशिपचा फॉर्म भरायचा असतो त्यावेळेस तुमचं कास्ट व्हॅलिडिटी पाहिजे तर तुम्हाला त्याचं कास्ट व्हॅलिडिटी 2 पर्यंत आली पाहिजे का? नाही ऍडमिशन तुम्ही स्कॉलरशिप भरू शकता, स्कॉलरशिपचा बेनिफिट. आता ऍडमिशन तुमचं ओपन
Okay. I will note down your attendance now. Wait for 2 minutes. Let me take the screenshots.
Recording in progress.
Okay, done, guys. Now you can use, please. Thank you. Thank you.